All right, here we are for our weekly show. Nothing but bliss.
Nothing but worry, fool.
I'm Lance Ash, and here with me on the sofa is my wife Bonnie.
Mrs. Lance Ash.
Yes. And I think the first thing to get out of the way is our reactions to the debate and, more importantly, the post-debate discussions going on. What do you have to say, Bonnie?
Well, first off, we really probably can't comment on it truly because we didn't watch the debate. And part of it has to do with our contempt for Donald Trump. And our fear of what was going to happen, which was flubs, major flubs by Biden. We've watched a few clips, followed a lot of the post-debate analysis, and it's a depressing situation.
It's depressing to me because at this point in our civilization's evolution, everything has become entertainment. And most people who watch the debate will have found Trump to be more entertaining, and therefore we want more of that. We want more of that kind of entertainment. He's fun to watch. It doesn't matter what the policies are, or lack thereof.
Says, or the fiction that he spews, the outright lies that he spews, his egomaniacal ideas and sense of self-worth. Yeah, none of that seems to be taken into account. All they want to do is be entertained.
Yeah, well, I mean, all this bullshit talk about, well, they've got to replace Biden now before it's too late. It doesn't, none of that matters to me. You don't have to vote for someone if you have a clear-cut choice of who to vote against. We must vote against Trump. So if Biden's the nominee, I don't care if he peed his pants live on camera. I'm going to vote against Trump, and the only viable option is to vote for Biden. Third-party candidates, the old saying is true, go ahead, throw your vote away. And don't sit on your ass and not vote.
Well, you're voting for Project 2025 if you're voting for Trump. When Trump came into power the first time, they didn't expect him to win. He didn't win the popular vote, he won the electoral vote. And so they went in unprepared. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. They didn't even know who transitioned over in the White House staff, who would stay and who would go. They had nothing prepared. This time, the Heritage Foundation, Liberty University, and a couple dozen other extreme conservative groups have gotten together and created a plan from day one of Trump taking power again in January of 2025. And it's depressing.
What was that noise just then?
That was a computer update.
Oh, well, the thing is, you got to remember, you're not just voting for that person. You're voting for all the people that person's going to bring with him, and you're voting for the political philosophy that he's bringing with him. And so the people Trump will bring with him are a bunch of theocratic morons.
What's that creepy guy, Steve?
Yeah, Stephen Miller.
Stephen Miller, Mnuchin. Who was the old craggy white guy that was Treasury?
Gorka? No.
Well, you're going to have his type, his ilk. You won't have Steve Bannon until Trump pardons him. He's in prison. Supreme Court said, no, you're going to prison. You're going to have that type. The Sarah Huckabee Sanders who gets up there and just lies from the podium to the press.
Well, the thing is, these people, they truly want to dismantle democracy. They want to dismantle the federal government. Yeah. They want to have a theocratic system and have corporations control everything because corporations have been blessed by God. Otherwise, they wouldn't be wealthy. It's a logical, you know, argument they're making there. It's ridiculous.
Their logic, their so-called logic. The Supreme Court today overturned the Chevron decision and basically said that the justices will be the arbiters of what is knowledge with regard to expertise here, instead of the agencies that are the experts on regulations. And it's going to be scary. This is something that Republicans have wanted for a very long time. They want to take the fangs out of regulation here in the U.S. And we forget we had a river on fire at one point. We had rivers that were so deadly. They had deadly smog and other things like that. We've had, I don't know how many problems with tainted wells, and there's a reason the EPA is around, and it was created by Nixon, if I recall correctly, a Republican president, because things had gotten so bad. And we have these cleanup procedures, etc., also brought about during the same time. And they are extending their ideas of anti-science into these legislative decisions now with SCOTUS. They're telling agencies, no, you don't get to decide what regulations are enforced and what type of things can be outlawed or regulated or controlled. We're going to be the ones who do it. Like I mentioned to you earlier, this is like the mullahs ruling body in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And
see, the overriding
money,
thought,
religion.
Well, yeah, religion is it for me, because their attitude is, it doesn't matter if we completely destroy the planet. Jesus is coming back, so it doesn't matter. And the sooner we destroy the planet, the sooner he will come back. So it's a win-win situation. We can make money while we're waiting for Jesus to come back.
That was an actual thing from James Watt, Secretary of the Interior under Reagan. He said that exact statement.
Yeah.
These people really do believe that, like the Haggies and such, that we have to do what's necessary to push the end times philosophy. We have to make it so bad here that Jesus has to come back.
Yeah. And, oh shit, I forgot. Oh, I know what I was going to say. See, the thing is, to them, if there's no God, then what's the point of life? What's the meaning? And they don't understand there is no universal meaning. You decide for yourself. You, the individual, decide what your life is about and for. And they can't.
God, I'm married to another existentialist. Thank you.
They can't grasp that idea. To them, it has to be a universal meaning. Everybody has to have the same purpose, the same meaning. Otherwise...
Oh, or worse, it's God's meaning and you can't know it. These are the great mysteries. You just have to blindly follow and blindly accept.
You have to follow the man who speaks for Jesus, because Jesus won't say shit to you.
Even if he's molested the 12-year-old, as we saw happen this week and get confessed to by Trump's former spiritual advisor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, such trustworthy folks, these priests and preachers.
Well, on a different topic, I had some fun today. I went to Walmart to do a return, and it was 91 degrees outside. Walking back to my car, without realizing it, I stepped in somebody's freshly deposited green mint chewing gum and didn't realize it till I got to the car. And as I'm pulling my foot into the car, I say, "What are these green strings?" And then I realize I've smeared chewing gum all on the floor of the car, on my shoe, on my shoelaces, on my pants leg.
On the outside of the car.
Yeah. So, it just really pisses me off that people just don't give a flying fuck. I don't think I never chew gum. But even if I did, I wouldn't spit it on the ground where people walk.
It's so rude. It's like those idiots that throw diapers out in the parking lot
Yeah, people do that.
because they don't want to clean it up. Let somebody else do it. Let somebody else deal with it. And that's basically the way things are right now. We're destroying the environment. Oh, let the next generation deal with the ramifications. The funny thing is now we're all dealing with it. The floods this week. The floods were amazing. The dam breach up in, what is it, Minnesota. Just,
I wonder how much that all contributed to that sinkhole developing in that soccer field. And what was it, Illinois?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a while back we had a sinkhole here in Athens, and it was because it was a car wash and all the water wasn't properly draining. And it eroded all the land underneath it and washed it away. So, yeah. And we build on literal old landfills. And we build on debris and rubbish. And we don't have solid foundations in a lot of areas. And water, once it gets going, it'll erode everything in little bitty bits and bits.
They don't give a flying fuck. They don't want to use.
They're in denial about climate change.
Well, not only that, but
they reject science.
But these problems, like the flooding, they require a huge commitment in federal outlay for infrastructure, more dams, more spillways, but they don't want to spend taxpayer money on it. They just, well, we'll sit on our asses and wait for corporations to deal with it. They don't give a shit because the people at the top, they're living in Aruba or whatever, you know.
Well, this week ABC News reported that only 5% of Americans have flood insurance. So a great many of these people that are being affected have no flood insurance. That's going to tax the recovery system here in the U.S.
Well, another thing that the Republicans want to do away with is FEMA. They want to do away with to them, the only legitimate function of government is protecting the property rights of the wealthy. Anything else, that's bullshit.
We sat through the tech bubble, sat through the housing bubble. We're going to hit insurance bubble, where the insurance companies absolutely cannot do anything anymore. We saw our own house insurance increase over the last several years, and then the house itself, like other houses, has increased in value because of this insanity of the housing market. Our house is now valued at 3 times what it was several years ago, and of course that means our insurance went up yet again. When we started off, we had about $75 added each month to our mortgage, and that was for taxes and insurance. And now we are at almost $400 a month for taxes and insurance. Now, mind you, we've had our mortgage for a very long time, and we have a very small overall mortgage.
You're depressing me. I don't like to hear about money.
It is very depressing, but you know what's even more depressing? Even with our mortgage, our insurance, our taxes, that is the escrow plus the mortgage, all in, we pay less for our 2,300 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, 2-bath house. I keep forgetting that the extra rooms, that 5th room is a bedroom technically. We pay more, less for that than our daughter pays for a 1-bedroom apartment.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me see what else happened. The guy who was supervising last night, okay, first of all, I'll tell you, the word has come down that they're supposed to hire 4 more people and to help me, which will be good news.
It isn't just you, it's helping everybody, dear.
But I mentioned this to the guy who was in charge last night. He poo-pooed the idea. Oh, I've been hearing that for years. Well, thank you for your optimistic, 2 cents there. That's great.
Well, you work with other people that are also dismissive. You've always had to deal with the naysayers. You did that up in Atlanta, now you're doing it again here.
Yeah. I would, well, anyway, I was going to say, I would just love for like 1 week to have the the older lady who I worked with before come and work with us and see what she thinks of it. But I really don't ever want to see her again.
Yeah, you got to the point where you had utter contempt for her.
Because she was the kind of person that it doesn't matter what you say, she's going to pour cold water on it, you know. And if you said, oh, they've done something bad, you're like, oh, the Nazis are rounding up the Jews. She'd go, well, that's what Nazis do.
Jesus.
You're like, what's so shocking about that? I don't understand. That was
Wait
her.
till Stephen Miller has to round up his own wife. Oh my God. You know, they're talking about having mass deportation camps under Trump.
Yeah,
Jesus.
the whole thing.
Oh my God.
But, I can only do so much. I don't have any power. I'm gonna vote for Biden, and that's all I can do. And if the American people pick Trump, then there's just
Well,
nothing I can do.
when Trump becomes the next president, and I have no doubt at this point that's what's going to happen, when you deal with those people who refuse to vote for Biden and they start bitching about Trump, to go, you don't get to talk about it. You didn't vote for Biden. You didn't vote against Trump. You let this happen.
What else has happened this week? I can't think. Let me check the time here on the recorder. We got about 3-4 minutes to go. I listened to Pearl Jam's second album this week, and it is a masterpiece, except for one song.
What songs are on it?
Go, Animal, what's the song? Glorified G, Indifference, which is a great song, Rearview Mirror, which is a great song. But there's one song that is not good, and that's the song Leash, because it sounds like a typical late 80s pop metal band song with these group vocals, and it's just irritating.
What's the art on the front of it?
That's the one where the
Sheep?
it's like sheep. I thought it was for years I thought it was a dog, but it's sheep
Sheep? Yeah.
in a muddy field. And it took me years to realize on the back cover are naked human feet. Those aren't goat or sheep feet in the back, on the back cover. I want to say that the song River Mirror is one of those songs that I wish I could share with my father and tell him my feelings about it, but he would just totally not get it, and he would just not.
What are the feelings?
The song is about, I don't know if it's specifically about Eddie Vedder's abusive stepfather, but it's about being in an abusive relationship or an abusive situation, and years later, when you get some distance from that situation, then you can sort of see it objectively. And
Why would you share it with your dad?
because I feel like, well, it's a powerful song, and it's in many ways I feel like I had a hard time as a kid and as a teenager, and I feel like I've gotten away from all that, and I've triumphed over not only all the people who wanted to dismiss me or who felt disappointment with me or who didn't like me, but I feel like I've triumphed over myself. I've made myself into something, and I don't know. It's just one of those things. I can't emphasize this enough to my father especially. But it's more than that. I mean, it's just a universal song of I don't know.
I thought maybe it had to do with that story about your dad booting you out of the truck.
No.
I can't imagine leaving my kid on a road
For
somewhere.
a joke. Just a little cute joke, you know.
I don't understand that.
I don't either. I mean,
Why
it's
would
like,
you abandon your kid in any way? To leave you on an old dirt road
at night,
and drive off.
when you're like 4, you know.
Christ!
This will be a cute little funny thing to do. Ha ha ha. I was just kidding.
No wonder you don't have a relationship with him.
Oh, really? It was a cute joke, huh? Well, I can't fully trust you anymore. How about that?
Jesus.
Oh, dear. Well, anyway, it's just irritating that I can't share anything
You have zero
musical.
relationship with your family, honestly. Your mom's so far gone, but
Well,
she's borderline for intelligence. And your father has no emotional intelligence and limited cultural reach.
I remember years ago, my sister was staying with my mother, and I went down there, and I mentioned that Scott Weiland had just died, and my sister was basically like, "Good, I'm glad he's dead. Huh? Who cares?" Is that
Jesus.
is that right? Well, okay.
She is a good maggot.
All right. Well, I guess we're about done here. Yeah. Anything else to add?
Life is cruel. No need to be cruel.
Yeah. No need to add to the cruelty.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Our friend
Clay?
Clay came to visit from New York, and he emphasized several times about
Well, you have
the necessity to be nice to people or kind to people, and I didn't realize that was a abiding theme with him, and I was struck by that. So, okay.
Bye.
Hey, bye-bye, everybody.